Alright, alright, alright. Okay. Okay, hep, hooray. Alright. Okay. Today is 30th December. Second to the last day of this year. Wow. And it's 2300. So it's just gonna be a quick stream. It's a Tuesday, it's not that busy today. But I had to catch up with some bits like watching some documentaries and cleaning up a bit. How's your day been, guys? How's your day been? Oh my god, this. How's your day been? Mine's been okay. I didn't sleep upon returning home. Had a little bit of extra energy. Usually I sleep upon going home, but not today. Hey Google, what's the weather?
In Cambridge, it'll be cloudy with a high of 6 and a low of 1.
That's similar to yesterday. Anyway, yeah. If you're new here, thanks for being here. If you're not new, if you're returning, appreciate you. Thank you, love. Mwah. If you're new here, yeah, I'm just randomly streaming every day. Yeah, just stand by and see what we're gonna do. But plan today is basically just study. Some more life in the UK, some more chit chat, and some more guitar and playing and practicing my new old songs. Guys, if you'd like to engage, just feel free to chat on the chat box, comments below. Still getting used to this. It's like what, episode 15, 16. But what I do is I do gaming. A little bit of gaming, mostly music, and I also have a full-time job. That's basically me. I'm always in front of the computer, so better yet have this thing. Kind of keeps me accountable as well. So yeah, I'm for sure playing my guitar, so I will try to play music every time, but for sure it's gonna copyright my full stream. But you know, it's my thing. If you go on my YouTube channel, I do busk, and I'm a local here in Cambridge, UK, and I do busk in town every now and then. And I'm trying to write my own songs as well. So it's almost a new year, and yeah, things have progressed and moved on. But here we are right now, just still trying stuff. But yeah, I'll put timestamps on the description below. Here. If you just want to jump on the music bit. But yeah, you'll see. Oh, okay, where are we at? All right, let's do some. See, I was supposed to start my timer. I was supposed to start this as my background music. Still getting used to it. Okay, almost 5 minutes. Let's open a search box. You will also for sure see that I keep on talking to my good old buddy Google every time. So yeah, he's my review buddy. Oh no, she. It's a she. My Google voice. Okay. Anyway, let's start with studying first. Just to get it over with. That's what I got. Life in the UK. Yeah. That's my status here right now. We're almost there. We're almost there, buddies. Oh, this music kinda matches the vibe of the topic right now. In the book I'm already in, I'm in early Britain. Early Britain. Early Britain. So I'm gonna read this book and I'm gonna have some small bullet points that we'll hear from Google what it's about. But yeah. So early Britain, we've finished. What was it? The Romans. No, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, Romans, Anglo-Saxons. Now we're in Vikings. All right, let's talk about the Vikings. Just for everyone to see, these are the Vikings. These are the Vikings. Maybe better if they stay on the other side. Wow, these are the Vikings. Yep. Alright, the Vikings. The Vikings of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden first visited Britain in 789 to raid coastal towns and take away 7-8. Wow, that's that could be an easy to remember year. 789 AD. Can you see me? So you can kind of see what I'm doing. Say hello to my little friend Roma. That's my little friend. Alright. 789 to raid coastal towns and take away goods and slaves. They against all them from their own communities in this England, Scotland, but were defeated in England by King Alfred the Great, and the Vikings decided to live in Britain. The Viking settlers mixed with local communities and some converted to Christianity. In the north, Vikings attacked and encouraged the people to reunite under one king, Kenneth MacAlpin. The term Scotland became to be used to describe that country. Hindi naman pala drinig ang ano, yung background music ko. You'll hear it now. There you go. You hear it now. All right. What was the Danelaw? Hey Google. What was the Danelaw?
In a legal context, Law Day historically refers
What?
to specific dates.
Hey Google. What was the Danelaw? I'm trying to learn about the Vikings.
In Viking society, the day in law centered around the Thing, Old Norse Thing, a governing assembly where free men gathered to settle
What,
disputes and legislate. Key aspects of the Thing. The assembly. It served as both a parliament and a court. It was the primary alternative to blood feuds, allowing families to settle legal conflicts through arbitration or fines. The law speaker. Because laws were not written down until later, a law speaker, Loksogumater, had to memorize the entire legal code and recite portions of it at each.
For invasion, division, geography, modern connections. The in-law Vikings is the name of historical reenactment of groups that create Viking life, crafts, and combat, bringing the period to life through authentic displays. What? Legacy, significant marks on English culture, especially in places name. What? So what is it really? Danelaw was crucial for Viking society in England, shifting them from mere raider settlers, creating hybrid laws like War Guild, I don't know if that's even pronounced properly, and governance assemblies called Thinks. What? Enriching the English language in words like sky and egg, and leaving lasting place names ending in by Thorpe, profoundly shaping Anglo-Norse culture, administration, daily life with a unique blend of Scandinavian Saxon traditions. Hybrid laws. Basically, it's a concept that governed the race, the period, the culture, assemblies, urban centers. Okay, second, find out about who was the first Danish king to rule England. Hey Google. Who was the first Danish king to rule England?
Sweyn Forkbeard was the first Danish king to rule England. He was proclaimed king on Christmas Day in 13 after a successful invasion, forcing the Anglo-Saxon king Aethelred the Unready into exile. However, his reign was the shortest in English history, lasting only 5 weeks until his death in February 1014. He was the father of Canute the Great, who later became a much more famous and long-ruling Danish king of England. Would you like to know more about how his son Canute eventually took back the throne?
I've actually heard of that Canute. Hey Google. Yes, please.
After Sweyn Forkbeard died in 1014, his son Canute the Great was forced out of England by the returning Saxon king, Aethelred the Unready. Canute returned in 1015 with a massive invasion force and fought a series of brutal battles against Ethelred's son, Edmund Ironside. The path to power. The final battle. Canute won a decisive victory at the Battle of Asindun in 1016, allegedly due to a betrayal by a Saxon nobleman. The treaty. The two kings signed a peace treaty to divide England. Canute took the north and Edmund kept the south, Wessex. Sole rule. Edmund died just weeks later, and according to their agreement, Canute became the sole king of England on Christmas Day 1016. Canute went on to create a North Sea empire that included England, Denmark, and Norway. Would you like to see a map of his empire, or learn about how he treated his English subjects?
Excuse me. Hey Google. Why was there something trivial about he treated his English subjects?
You're likely thinking of the legend of King Canute and the Tide. Though often used today to describe someone arrogantly trying to stop the inevitable, the original story was about humility. Tired of his courtiers' excessive flattery, Canute set his throne on the shore and commanded the tide to stop. When it soaked his feet, he used it as a lesson to show that a king's power is trivial compared to the power of God and nature. Would you like to hear about other famous Viking legends or facts?
I'm fine. Okay, that was that. Now we're on to the Norman conquest. In 1066, William, Duke of Normandy, defeated Harold. This is what I learned before, that Harold had to beat someone Norway. Is that right? And then a few days or a few weeks after, he had to face his tired army, had to march south to face William the Conqueror. So like I think Harold was defending the England from north, the north of England from Norway, I think, and then the south of England from Normandy, which is William the Conqueror. So of course they didn't win the second fight because they were all worked up and bruised from the first battle. That was Battle of Hastings, right? Hey Google, tell me briefly how Harold defended England, and I believe he defeated an invasion force northern England, and then a few weeks or a few days after, shortly, they had to march down to face William the Conqueror of Normandy. Is that right?
That is exactly right. 1066 was a year of incredible military endurance for King Harold II.
King Harold, yeah.
The Northern Defense. On September 25th, Harold won a crushing victory at the Battle of Stamford Bridge near York.
Bridge.
He had marched his army 180 miles in just 4 days to surprise and defeat the
180
Viking
miles.
King Harold
Dang.
Hardrada and Harold's own brother
Harold
Tostig,
versus Harold.
too. The forced march south. Just 3 days after that victory, William of
3
Normandy
days.
landed on the south coast. Harold had to immediately turn his exhausted army around and march 240 miles south
God
in
damn.
roughly 12 days to defend the coast. 3. The Battle of Hastings. On October 14th, Harold faced William at the Battle of Hastings. Despite the exhaustion of his troops and
Arrow
having to
on
fight
the eye.
uphill from a shield wall, the battle lasted all day. It only ended when Harold was killed, reportedly by an arrow to the eye, allowing William to become William the Conqueror. Would you like to know why the English shield wall eventually broke during the battle?
We'd like to know why the English shield wall eventually broke. Because they were...
Mistake. Thinking they had won, the less experienced English soldiers, the Fyrd, broke formation and chased the retreating Normans down the hill, the trap. Once the English were out in the open and disorganized, the Norman cavalry turned around and cut them down. This happened multiple times, thinning the wall until it finally collapsed. Would you like to know more about the Housecarls, Harold's elite professional soldiers who stayed until the end?
Oh wow, Housecarls. Wow. They could have been the special forces, were they? Housecarls of Harold. Until the end. Wow. Trying to think of all these strong and brave men that face inevitable death on those times, damn. Must be tragic, and at the same time it's like they've accepted their fate getting into the battlefield. King Harold Godswin's Housecarls were his elite professional bodyguard and core fighting force, renowned as some of Europe's finest infantry, known for their loyalty to mail armor, conical helmets, and devastating two-handed battle axes, while famously fighting to the last man. On Harold's body, Battle Hastings, they formed the backbone of his army, positioned in the center with the local militia, Fyrd, and were paid soldiers, distinguishing them from the less equipped temporary levies. Elite troops, highly trained professional soldiers, unlike the part-time Fyrd, wore chainmail iron helmets with nasal guards and carried kite shields. Oh, they're like paladins. The character I play in Diablo later on, we're gonna play a little bit. We're famous for the huge two-handed battle axes. How can you carry a kite shield when you have two-handed battle axes? Loyalty and role of Harold's personal retinue. What does that mean? Sworn to protect him, forming the center of his battle line, or paid wages, stipendiary or malaman, making them fresh shoulders. Around 3,000 at the start of 1066 were reduced by the Battle of Stamford Bridge, leaving about 2,000. Wow, that's a lot of... It's a lot of special forces, huh? But a third of them died. Tragic. Legacy fought to the death at Hastings, defending their king's fallen body, embodying Anglo-Saxon martial honor. Damn. Yeah, can you imagine? Thousands of men died for just that one battle. It was brutal times, damn. Brutal, brutal times. Okay, anyway. Harold was killed in the battle. William became the King of England, or William the Conqueror. And his own William, yeah. The Bayeux Tapestry commemorates the battle and can still be seen in France today. The Bayeux Tapestry and the Doomsday. The Norman Conquest was the last successful foreign invasion in England. Wow. It led to many changes in government and social structure in England. The English language today shows the influence of Norman French. Find out, what impact did the Norman conquest have on Wales and Scotland? Hey Google. What impact did the Norman conquest have on Wales and Scotland?
The Norman conquest fundamentally reshaped the political and social structures of Wales and Scotland, though in very different ways. Wales, direct infiltration and conflict. The Marcher Lords, William the Conqueror, established powerful earldoms along the border, the Marches. These lords launched private invasions, seizing fertile lowlands and building an extensive network of stone castles to secure territory. Political fragmentation. Norman pressure forced Welsh princes into a cycle of resistance and fealty, eventually leading to the creation of the Principality of Wales as a distinct but subordinate entity to the English crown. Cultural displacement. Large numbers of English and French settlers moved into new boroughs around castles, introducing Norman law and a manorial economy that sat alongside traditional Welsh customs. Scotland. Subtle Davidian revolution. Invitation, not invasion. Unlike Wales, Scotland was never fully conquered. Instead, King David I, who grew up in the Norman English court, voluntarily invited Norman nobles to Scotland in the 12th century. Feudalization. Wow. These nobles, including the ancestors of Robert the Bruce and the Stuarts, received land in exchange for military service,
can you imagine?
Modernizing the Scottish army with heavy cavalry and professionalizing administration. Ecclesiastical reform. The Scottish Church was restructured into dioceses and parishes to match the European model, and new monastic orders like the Cistercians were introduced. Summary comparison feature.
Oh, imagine becoming a soldier, but of course it's not a straightforward feat to become a soldier at that time. You have to be a knight, I believe. See? Nobles to lesser lords and knights. These nobles subdivided their land and granted it to lesser lords. Knights. They were knights. Lords to serf. So English knights. Well, you have the status of becoming a knight, a hero, and then you're also granted land. That's great. Now what do you get as a soldier? Experience, status, and adventure, I guess. But yeah, exchange your life. Not really your life. You don't always that, but okay. The Middle Ages. The Middle Ages as far as I can put in simple terms, this started when the Roman Empire fell. Is that right? Time of war. Broadly speaking, the Middle Ages for medieval period spans 1,000 years from 8476, the end of the Roman occupation of Britain, to 1845. Yeah. However, the focus here is on the period after the Norman conquest, 1066. Oh, that's like already halfway of that span of time. It was a time of almost constant wars. Wales was annexed to the English crown. The Scots remained independent. Scotland, yeah, the Scots remained independent because they weren't, again, it was mentioned earlier that they weren't fully conquered. So they even invited the noblemen, the enemy noblemen. Wales was annexed to the English crown. Ireland gradually came under the influence of England. There were also wars abroad. Knights took part in crusades in which European Christians fought to control the Holy Land. English kings fought the 100 Years' War in France. The English largely left France in the 1450s. The armies were provided by landowners who had been given land by the king. This was known as feudalism. Oh, that's basically the definition. Some peasants had their own land, but most were serfs. They had a small area. Black Death. It's like such a gruesome topic, but I don't know, I'm so into it. The Black Death. 1300s, I believe. Yep. Black Death. 1348. 1/3 the population in England and similar proportion in Scotland and Wales died from a form of plague known as Black Death. It was short of people to work on the land and peasants. That's why they were able to demand, and it kind of reshaped society and the dynamics of the rich and the poor. So the poor was able to demand more because there was pretty much nobody to work for the rich people. So they demanded more pay and status. See, to work on the land, and peasants began to demand higher wages. New social classes appeared and people left the countryside to live in towns. This emerged the working class. All the developed middle class. Countryside live in the towns. This all led to the development of a strong middle class. In Ireland, the Black Death killed many in the Pale controlled areas. What English controlled areas? About the wars between England and Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Hey Google, tell me briefly about the wars between England and Wales, Scotland, and Ireland.
England's historical conflicts with its neighbors were primarily driven by a desire for territorial expansion and political control. Wales, England's conquest of Wales was gradual, beginning with Norman raids in the 11th century. The decisive conflict was the Edwardian conquest, 1277 to 1283, where King Edward I defeated Llewellyn ap Gruffydd, the last native prince of Wales. Following the failed Glyndŵr Rising, 1415, Wales was fully integrated into the English legal system. Scotland. Unlike Wales, Scotland remained largely independent through centuries of warfare. Wars of Scottish Independence, 1296 to 1357. Resistance led by William Wallace and Robert the Bruce famously defeated English forces at Bannockburn, 1314. The Rough Wooing, 1544 to 1551. Henry VIII unsuccessfully attempted to force a marriage between his son and Mary, Queen of Scots, through military invasion. The Jacobite Risings, 1689 to 1746. After the Union of the Crowns, these conflicts saw Scottish-led attempts to restore the Stuart monarchy, ending at the Battle of Culloden,
It's a lot
Ireland.
of battles.
The conflict in Ireland was characterized by centuries of colonization and rebellion. The Tudor Conquest, 1534 to 1603. A series of wars, including the 9 Years' War, where English forces suppressed Gaelic lords. Cromwellian Conquest, 1649 to 1653. Following the English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell launched a brutal campaign to crush Irish Catholic resistance. The Williamite War, 1688 to 1691. Part of a wider European conflict, this secured Protestant dominance in Ireland. Would you like me to go into more detail on a specific battle or time period?
No. Hey Google. Hey Google. Name a famous battle in the 100 Years' War.
The Battle of Agincourt, 1415, is the most famous conflict of the Hundred Years' War. Other major battles include Battle of Crécy, 1346, Battle of Poitiers, 1356, Siege of Orleans, 1428 to 1429, Battle of Castillon, 1453. Would you like to know more about the English longbow or Joan of Arc's role in these battles?
I've heard about Joan of Arc, but I know that English longbow played a role because with the higher firepower or the stronger firepower of the longbow, they were able to shoot further and it was able to penetrate armor. Is that right? Hey Google, tell me briefly about the Battle of Agincourt and also, yeah, the longbow and a little bit about Joan of Arc.
Battle of Agincourt, 1415. King Henry V led a small, exhausted English army to a stunning victory against a much larger French force. The French were hampered by heavy mud and poor coordination, allowing the English to decimate their noble cavalry. The English longbow. The longbow was the superweapon of the era. Made of yew, it allowed archers to fire up to 10 to 12 arrows per minute with enough force to penetrate armor at close range. At Agincourt, a storm of arrows panicked the French horses and created chaos in the narrow battlefield. Joan of Arc. Years after Agincourt, Joan of Arc, a teenage peasant girl, claimed divine visions and led the French to lift the siege of Orleans, 1429. Her leadership turned the tide of the war, though she was eventually captured by the English and burned at the stake for heresy at age 19. Would you like to see a map of how French territory changed during this period?
What was the fuel system and how it was introduced? Fuel system. Hey Google, simply define to me the feudal system.
The fetal system refers to the specialized physiological structures and organ functions of a developing fetus between the 9th week of...
Hey Google. Hey Google. Tell me briefly about the feudal system and how was it introduced? England.
The feudal system was a social hierarchy based on land ownership and loyalty. The king owned all the land and leased it to nobles, barons, in exchange for military service.
Hey Google. I already know that. Next question, how did the Black Death lead to the development of a strong middle class? I didn't know that. Legal and political changes. The origins of the UK Parliament in the Middle Ages. In 1215, King John was forced by his noblemen to agree to the Magna Carta. Wow. This is the photo. It's a photo. There's the photo in the book. He was forced to sign. Look at his face. Look at his face. Wow. Magna Carta has played a huge role on how society is today and how the laws are, how would I say, designed or formulated. Oh, I didn't know this. Didn't know this forcing of signing. Hey Google. What was the story about King John? Hey Google. Hey Google. What was the story about King John being forced to sign the Magna Carta?
King John of England was forced to sign the Magna Carta in 1215 because he had angered his barons with heavy taxes, failed wars in France, and abuses of power. After the barons rebelled and seized London, they cornered the king at a meadow called Runnymede and forced him to affix his seal to the document. The Great Charter established for the first time that the king was not above the law. It protected the rights of free men and introduced the foundation for due process, ensuring that no one could be imprisoned without a fair trial. Although John tried to ignore the agreement almost immediately, the document became a cornerstone of modern democracy and the inspiration for the U.S. Bill of Rights. Would you like me to explain the specific rights it guaranteed to the common people?
So John was cruel. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Magna Carta limited the power of the king. As it grew, Parliament in England was divided in two parts. First off, in future, the king would have to consult noblemen if he wanted to collect taxes or change laws. This developed into Parliament. As it grew, Parliament in England was divided into two parts: the House of Lords for the nobility, great landowners, and bishops. The House of Commons for knights, who were usually smaller landowners and wealthy people from towns and cities. The electorate was very small. Parliament also developed in Scotland. It had three houses called estates: the Lords, the Commons, and the clergy. I think King John was forced by his noblemen to agree to sign the Magna Carta. Judges became independent of government. Judges became independent of government, and common law developed in England. In Scotland, the legal system developed slightly differently. Find out. Hey Google. What does Magna Carta mean?
Magna Carta is Latin for Great Charter. It was a royal document sealed by King John of England in 1215. It established the landmark principle that the king is not above the law, protecting subjects against the arbitrary exercise of royal power. Would you like to know about the most famous clauses still in use today?
Hey Google. Yes, sure.
Only 3 clauses of the Magna Carta remain on the UK statute books today. Clause 1 guarantees the freedom and liberties of the Church of England. Clause 13 confirms the ancient liberties of the City of London and other towns. Clauses 39 and 40, these are the most famous, protecting the right to due process and a fair trial. They state that no free man shall be imprisoned except by the lawful judgment of his peers, and that justice will not be sold, denied, or delayed. Would you like to see the exact wording of the fair trial clause?
Oh, that's from the Magna Carta, huh? The right to due process and fair trial. I hear that a lot from Philippine news. Isn't that part of the? I forgot what the police recites. No, I think so. Hey Google. Yes, please tell me about the exact wording of Hey Google. Yes, please tell me about the exact wording.
And the rights of free men. You may be thinking of Clause 39, which states, no free man shall be seized or imprisoned except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. Would you like me to explain how this clause led to the modern right to a jury trial?
It's fine. It's interesting. So yeah. Hey Google. How did the legal system develop in Scotland?
The Scottish legal system is a mixed system that blends elements of civil law, Roman-based, and common law, precedent-based. Its development can be broken down into 4 key phases. 1. Early roots in feudalism, 12th century. Before the 1100s, Scotland relied on tribal customs, Celtic, Norse, and Anglo-Saxon. King David I began modernizing the system by introducing feudalism, which established royal courts and the office of the sheriff to enforce the law of the land. 2. The influence of Roman and canon law. Unlike England, which rejected Roman law in favor of its own common law, Scotland embraced the ius commune of continental Europe. Education. Because Scotland lacked law schools until the 18th century, students studied in France and the Netherlands, bringing back Roman legal principles. The church, ecclesiastical, canon. Law heavily influenced areas like marriage, inheritance, and contracts. 3. The institutional writers, 17th, 18th century. The system was solidified by institutional writers like Lord Stair, who wrote The Institutions of the Law of Scotland, 1681. These texts organized Scots law into a coherent philosophical framework and are still treated as authoritative sources in court today. 4. The Treaty of Union, 1707. When Scotland and England joined to form Great Britain, the Treaty of Union explicitly guaranteed that Scotland would keep a separate legal system, courts, and laws. This preserves Scotland's unique identity, though centuries of shared legislation and appeals to the UK House of Lords, now the Supreme Court, have led to some convergence with English law. Key difference. While English law is built on a bottom-up approach of following past cases, Scots law often uses a top-down approach based on broad legal principles. Would you like to see a comparison of how the Scottish and English court structures differ today?
No, I'm good. A distinct identity. A national cultural identity started to develop in the Middle Ages in England. Norman French, spoken by the king in his court, and Anglo-Saxon, spoken by the peasants, merged into one English language. English had become the preferred language of the royal court and parliament by 1400. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote a series of poems in English about this is the Canterbury Tales. About a group of people going to Canterbury on a pilgrimage. It was one of the earliest books to be printed by William Caxton. William Caxton printed it. The first person in England to print books using a printing press. Wow. Really? 1400s. That's the machine he worked on. That's the printing press. So that's the thing that you assemble the letters and then print it. I think you wipe it with ink and then it gets pressed on the paper. That's a breakthrough technology during that time for sure. In Scotland, many people continue to speak Gaelic, and this class language also developed. You will find many buildings which date from Middle Ages. There are many castles, some of which are in ruins in Britain and Ireland. Some are still in use. Beautiful cathedrals also found across the country. Many have stained glass windows, which we visited in New York, in Bath, where else? Not Westminster. There's even in the one in, what do you call this? The one close by. Oh my god, where did I get my license renew? No, my visa renewal. It's the tip of my tongue. Peterborough Cathedral. There's stained glass at Peterborough. It was around here that I walked and renewed my visa. It was a beautiful cathedral, definitely. Anyway. England became an important trading nation. Wool was exported and people came to trade and work. Okay, find out. Okay, we're gonna finish at the Wars of the Roses. Give some examples of English words come from Norman. Hey Google, give me some examples of English words which came from Norman, French, and Anglo-Saxon.
Modern English is a blend of these two sources, often creating synonym pairs, where the Anglo-Saxon word is everyday and the Norman French word is more formal. Animal versus meat. The most famous examples come from the kitchen. Anglo-Saxon peasants raised the animals, while Norman French nobles ate the meat. Animal, Anglo-Saxon, meat, Norman French. Cow, beef, pig/swine, pork, sheep, mutton, deer, venison, calf, veal, chicken, poultry. Formal versus informal synonyms. Because French was the language of the ruling class, French-derived words often sound more fancy or professional.
Yeah.
Ask, AS versus inquire, NF. Help, AS versus assist, NF. Buy, AS versus purchase, NF. Wish, AS versus desire, NF. Freedom, AS versus liberty, NF. Answer, AS versus reply, NF.
What? That's how it was made?
Most English words related to law, government, and the military are Norman French in origin, while words for basic nature and family are Anglo-Saxon. Norman French, law/power. Judge, jury, evidence, government, parliament, army, battle, royal. Anglo-Saxon, nature/life. Earth, water, sun, moon, tree, house, mother, father, brother. Would you like me to look up the etymology of any specific...
Damn. Wow, that's very interesting, huh? The more fancy words came from the Norman French English language, which was by the nobles and the rich spectrum of society. Anglo-Saxon was from the, what do you call this? The poor spectrum of society. Oh, simple words for them. For food, the peasants brought up the animals, so it's called by the animal names. And the Norman French made up the words pork, beef, poultry, pork, venison, veal, like the meat that came from the animal. Anyway, what language was used to... Hey Google, what language was used for official documents by 1400? Norman French?
In the year 1400, the language used for official documents
Latin.
depended on the region. Though Latin was the most widespread administrative language in the West, Europe, Latin, the primary language for law, diplomacy, and the church across Western and Central Europe. French, widely used in the English court and for legal yearbooks, as well as in French administration. Middle English vernaculars, just beginning to...
Okay. Canterbury Tales, that was them going around. William Caxton, the first guide to print by printing press. Canterbury Tales. Give an example of a poem written by... Hey Google. Give an example of a poem written in Scots language, famous one.
One of the most famous examples of a poem written in Scots is To a Mouse, 1785, by Robert Burns. The first stanza illustrates the language's distinct vocabulary and phonology. We sleek it cowrin, timorous beastie. Oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. Thou need that I was say hasty. With bickering brattle, I would be layeth to rend and chase thee with murdering paddle. Key Scott's terms in the stanza. Scott.
Damn. That's kind of funny and like tickles the ear. Give an example of a poem. No. Hey Google. Give some examples of castles and cathedrals in Britain. I didn't know that.
Britain features numerous historic fortifications and religious landmarks, often built during the Norman or Gothic eras. Notable castles: Windsor Castle, the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world. Edinburgh Castle, a dominant fortress on a volcanic rock in Scotland. Tower of London, a historic castle and former prison housing the crown jewels. Warwick Castle, a well-preserved medieval castle originally built by William the Conqueror. Caernarfon Castle, an Edwardian fortress in Wales known for its polygonal towers. Notable cathedrals: Canterbury Cathedral, the mother church of the...
What skills did people bring in? Hey Google. What skills did people bring to England from other countries? Farming,
Throughout
clothing,
history, people migrating to England have introduced vital industrial, agricultural, and cultural skills that transformed the nation. Medieval crafts. Flemish weavers brought advanced wool and silk weaving, while German and Dutch immigrants introduced beer brewing, printing, and clockmaking. Finance and law. The Normans introduced the feudal system and administrative governance, while Jewish migrants brought essential banking and money-lending expertise. Maritime and engineering. Vikings brought expert shipbuilding and navigation. Later, European engineers helped drain the fens and build early industrial infrastructure.
Wars of the Roses. The Wars of the Roses were fought in 1455. House of York and House of Lancasters, which led to the Tudors. Wars of the Roses. Wars of the Roses. Wars of the Roses, England. Supporters of the House of York, whose symbol was a white rose, and House of Lancaster, whose symbol was a red rose. Battle to decide who would be King of England. The House of Lancaster beat the House of York in Battle of Bosworth Field, and Henry Tudor became King Henry VII. Find out, when did the Battle of Bosworth Field take place and what was the outcome? Hey Google. Hey Google. When did the Battle of Bosworth Field take place and what was the outcome?
The Battle of Bosworth Field took place on August 22nd, 1485. Outcome: the battle ended in a decisive victory for Henry Tudor, who became King Henry VII. It resulted in the death of Richard III, the last English king to die in battle, the end of the Plantagenet dynasty, and the start of the Tudor dynasty. The conclusion of the Wars of the Roses, effectively ending the long civil war between the houses of York and Lancaster. Would you like to see a map of how the armies were positioned on the field?
I'm good. How are the houses of York and Lancaster united? By marriage? Hey Google. Hey Google. How were the houses of York and Lancaster united?
The houses of York and Lancaster were united through the marriage of Henry VII and Elizabeth of York on January 18th, 1480.
Hey Google. How was the Tudor rose formed?
The Tudor rose was formed by layering the white rose of York inside the red rose of Lancaster. Henry VII created this symbol after marrying Elizabeth of York in 1486. It served as graphic propaganda to show that the two warring houses were now a single, united family. You can still see this emblem today on British coins and royal buildings. Would you like to know which other symbols, like the portcullis, the Tudors used to show their power?
Oh, good. Okay. That ends tonight's study. Tonight. Continue tomorrow. Thing is, tomorrow is a special day, being New Year's Eve. Wow. New Year's Eve and nothing's happening. If I was back home in the Philippines, it would have been a fireworks display. To be fair, right now it is 12, so it's 7 a.m., 8 a.m. back home, so it's most likely, if I remember right, there'll be like occasional. By noontime, there'll be like one at a time fireworks ringing outside, and some testing their fireworks as well, like this. I guess all I can do is watch it. Probably there's news already. Oh, countdown 2026, happy new year 2026. Wow. Already countdown, huh? It's a high rise. This is Manila. Wow. If you're living in a high-rise building, you'll just be watching. You don't need to be buying all those fireworks and burning your money. Wow, look at that view. That's nice. That's what I miss back home. Nice view.
Have you ever seen fireworks that make it look like a war zone in every city? That's New Year in the Philippines. The Philippines is famous for massive fireworks displays. Every single home lights firecrackers, and the noise can be overwhelming. The smoke sometimes reaches neighboring countries like Taiwan. People believe the noise drives away bad spirits and brings good luck. How about in your country? Have you ever seen fireworks that make it look like a war zone in every city?
War zone.
The Philippines is famous for massive fireworks displays. Every single home lights firecrackers, and the noise can be overwhelming. The smoke sometimes reaches neighboring countries like Taiwan. People believe the noise drives away bad spirits and brings good luck. How about in your country? Have you ever seen fireworks that make it look like a war zone?
And for sure, what do you call this? News would already be thinking about, broadcasting about expected and upcoming injuries from fireworks. Dude, that's not real, bro. Holy shit, that's a bomb. Those that get injured with fireworks, because they were probably holding the firework too long, or they were holding it when they weren't supposed to. You see how long the ignition is with that? Like this? Like 2 or 3 inches. And probably 4 inches. Damn, bro. Probably even longer than that. So,
as you can see, I'm currently setting up the firecrackers.
That costs a lot of money, bro.
It's a common family tradition here in the Philippines. Every New Year's Eve, we gotta do this. Time check, 3 minutes till the
Who the hell is this dude? Look how long. Wow, that's the longest that I've seen.
Happy New Year.
That's the longest I've seen.
Get it.
English ano siya? And then you're just gonna watch it.
The noise and fun chases away the bad vibes and bringing good luck to kick off the year with a bang. This tradition's aftermath symbolizes prosperity for the whole year.
The aftermath.
Is the arsenal for this New Year's Eve? Gang muna.
What the-
As you can see, I'm currently
Okay,
setting up the
anyway.
firecrackers.
Was gonna play something, but it's already midnight. Should I? I can do some playthrough. So, what do you call this? Playthrough while we are watching. So I can warm up. No, I mean I don't lose the momentum of my playing. Okay. This bride to be. What happened to this girl? Nakidnap idol. Well, this is like a viral news that they were supposed to get married, and then the day before she disappeared. I think she ran away. This girl. She ran away. I'm just making up stories now.
To be na halos 3 linggong nawala. Kwento niya, tinutukan daw siya ng kutsilyo, tinakpan na ang kanyang ilong hanggang sa mawalan ng malay at dinala sa madilim na lugar. Ang buong detalye nasa frontline report ni Gary De Leon.
Pasado ang una ng madaling araw, mula Season Pangasinan, naiuwi na ang nawalang bride-to-be na si Shera Dewan sa Fairview, Quezon City. Yakap siya ng kanyang kuya.
Lang yan, Diyos ko. Mga gatong balita, wala namang kalutay-lutay pero nabibigyang pansin basta may media.
Hindi na nagpaunlak ng panayam si Shera. Ang humarap ang kanyang fiancé na si Mark R.J. Reyes, na kasama ng QCPD na sumundo kay Shera sa Pangasinan.
Hinayaan ko muna siya yung talagang, alam niyo po yan, sabihin niya kung anong nangyari, ganyan. So, hinayaan ko siya talaga iiyak niya yung mga kailangan niya.
Okay.
Nang tanungin kung ano nangyari kay Shera sa loob ng 19 na araw.
Yung mga na-share niya sa akin, more on, na siya parang makakontribute na siya dun sa investigation ng mga polis eh. So, hindi ko na siya parang maibahagi pa po sa inyo kasi part na nga po siya ng investigation po.
Buong bansa sumubaybay sa missing bride. 4 na araw kasi mula nang mawala si Shera, ikakasal sana siya sa long-time partner na si Mark R.J. noong December 14. Pero December 10 na magpaalam si Shera na bibili na sapatos sa Fairview, Quezon City para sa kasal. Pero hindi na siya nakabalik. Sa backtracking ng mga otoridad, nakita siyang lumabas sa kanilang compound sa may pila ng tricycle sa katabing barangay, sa isang gasolinahan, hanggang sa pagsakay ng bus sa may Commonwealth Avenue at tuluyang maglaong parang bula. Bagamat wala pa raw senyalis ng krimen sa kaso ng missing bride, pinag-aaralan ang naging inisyal na salaysay ni Shera sa QCPD. Sa kwento nito, papunta siya sa isang mall sa Commonwealth. Sumakay ng UV Express kung saan may 2 siyang lalaking nakasabay.
Ayon po sa statement po ni Shera, hindi siya sumakay ng bus. Ang sinakyan niya is yung UV Express. tinutukan daw siya ng kutsilyo. Yung isa. Tapos may sinapalang ilong niya ng ng panyo. Doon na daw siya nawala ng nalay.
Weh.
Lang siya sa isang madilim na lugar.
Hindi raw masagot ni Shera ang mga sumunod na nangyari at kung paano napadpad sa Pangasinan. Pero doon daw siya naglakad-lakad.
Naglakad ka lang?
Naglakad-lakad lang po ako. Pero madaling araw ko po yung nilalakad.
Kahapon, December 29, biglang nakatanggap ng tawag ang pamilya ni Shera mula sa isang unknown number. Number ito na isang rider na pinakiusapan ng biktima para makatawag siya at masabi niyang nasa Pangasinan siya. Kinumpirma yan sa panayam ng One Balita Pilipinas ng 1PH sa hepe ng QCPD Public Information Office.
Ang kwento naman niya is lumapit sa kanya si Miss Shera at nagpapatulong. Binanggit nga daw po niya yung pangalan niya. Nung ma-verify po nitong rider na siya nga yung viral na nawawala ng bride-to-be, yun po, tinawagan nila yung number na nakalagay doon. Kaya si Mark po yung nakausap nila. And yun po yung sumunod doon is na-i-report na.
Does anyone believe this? I don't. For sure it took her 3 weeks to make up this story. 3 linggo niyang pinag-isipan yung story yan. Try makasabot niya for sure. I really think she ran away. Like, she came back in and was escorted by the kuya instead of the fiance. Probably the elder brother. The older brother even knows something.
Ni Mark sa QCPD.
Dito na napasugod ang QCPD at si Mark RJ sa Pangasinan. Natagpuan si Shera na nakasuot ng pantulog. Iba na ang damit niya mula nang huli siyang nakita. Sa initial medical assessment kay Shera, lumalabas na meron siyang dyspepsia o acid peptic disease. Nakukuha sa katawan kapag irregular ang pagkain at puro inom lang ng tubig. Stable naman ngayon ang vital signs ni Shera. Bagamat nakaramdam siya ng pagduduwal. Sa ngayon, ipasusuri ang biktima sa mga eksperto para mabigyan linaw ang nangyari sa kanya. Hindi pa raw kasi maayos ang pagkukwento nito, pero seryoso raw ang QCPD sakaling totoong may abduction na nangyari. Hiling ng pamilya ni Shera, privacy. Nasa pamilya na rin daw ang desisyon kung ibibigay ang 150,000 pesos sa rider na tumulong kay Shera. Nagbabalita mula sa frontline, Gary De Leon, News 5.
Mga kapatid, Cheryl Hosing po. Maging maalam at may pakialam sa mga napapanahong issue at headlines. Mag-follow at mag-subscribe na sa social media pages.
Why do you have this best sex ending in marriage? Dude, not even a relationship. Look at this. What?
With O2, get more data for the same price. Across our range of pay-as-you-go SIM deals. Plus all these exclusive perks from O2 included. O2, essential for living.
Oh, shut up.
Magpapalit na naman ang taon. May naipon na ba kayong pera nitong 2025? May mga payo ang isang financial advisor para sa mas epektibong pagbabudget, pag-iipon, at pagbabayad ng mga utang.
Okay.
Yan ang ulat ni Denise Osorio.
Habang papalapit ang bagong taon, muling hinaharap ng maraming Pilipino ang hamon ng pagbabalanse ng kita, lalo na sa gitna ng inflation at mas madaling paggastos online. Para kay Ash Reyes, na isang sales associate, paunti-unti ang pag-iipon niya. Tuwing may natitirang pera sa kanyang sahod, iniipon niya ito kahit maliit para may makuha kapag may emergency.
Sa panahon kasi ngayon, medyo mahirap talaga mag-save ng pera kasi yung mga bilihin ngayon medyo mataas na siya. So, 30 na lang din kung nakakapag-save ka.
Para sa 2026, plano ni Ash na iiwan na sa 2025 ang mga luho para mas makapag-ipon pa.
Malasan lang din yung mga expenses. Especially kapag hindi mo naman din kailangan. Kasi yung mga tao kasi ngayon parang kung ano lang din gusto nila nabibili nila.
Para naman kay Nanay Chris Velarde na isang tindera, walaan niya siyang naiipon dahil hindi laging nakakabawi sa benta.
Saan kaya saan to ka?
Nadudukot po ng paunti-unti, lalo na pag yung medyo matumal. Tapos, siyempre yung binibigay kaya kukuha pa po ng wala akong maiipon.
Ayon sa financial advisor na si Enery Franklin D, mahalagang magsimula sa malinaw na pag-alam kung magkano ang pumapasok at lumalabas na pera buwan-buwan.
Okay, anyway, let us play this. I was practicing Angels and Devils. Shouldn't have said that. But how is it again? Capo, Angels, Devils. Hintayin ako. This is the last time I'm never gonna give this. This is the life. This is right. I can see the pain. This is your life. Never gonna get it. I was so good. I would be able to take time. Good inside for us. I'm never gonna let every good inside for us. I'm not gonna worry about the things that could break us. Dollars again, give it up, give it back, make it do. Might be the last one you realize. In the guys. Moments you're worried about, the thing that can make us cold. Thank you very much. That's the first one. This is this second one. The newest old song that I've learned. Vanuatu. Again, it's all, of course, a drop D. Wait. Pangit nga pala yung filter. Buti na alala ko. God damn it. 118 filter. So whoever was listening to that, my apologies. It was on the bad filter. My apologies. So now I'm going to put it on the better filter and it should sound good now. Sorry. I am so sorry. I don't say that much, but really for this one I am, because these are supposed to be off. Like, listen. The way it sounds is so much different when I change this. Look. Staring out into the night, try to hide the pain. Now listen, this is what it should sound like. Turn this off, turn this off, turn this off, turn that off. This is how it should sound like. Well, I'm using the pick as well now. Staring out into the night, just trying to hide the pain. We're going to a place where love, feeling you don't never cost a thing. Made it feel so daring, gotta pay. I'm going home to a place where I belong. Love has always been free. I'm running from the thing you got me all wrong. Don't regret the life just for me. See, there's places and these faces are getting old. I'm going home. The miles are getting longer, it seems. The closer I get to you, I've always been the best man, friend for you. Your love me through, and I don't know why. always seem to give me another try. Holding on to a river raft, where your love has always been enough for me. I'm running from they got me all wrong. Don't regret this life just for me. See these lasers in these faces, you know. See these lasers in these faces, you know. Paano nga? Yeah, what you wish for, you just might get it. You just might get it all. There's nothing you don't want. Yeah, what you wish for, you just might get it. You just might get it all. Oh. To a baby ride, your love has always been enough for me. I'm running from everything you got me all wrong. Don't regret this life just for me. See these lasers in these faces, you know. See these lasers in these faces, you know. Right on. Love it all. Thank you very much. That's all for tonight. Yeah, it's time to sleep. Time to sleep. Yeah. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Damn, my shoulder. Fuck, bro. New Year's Eve. What are your plans tomorrow, guys? Tomorrow's also the last day I can go to that gym, but am I going? I don't think so. To box, maybe? A little boxing? After work, straight to gym. And it's the final. The last day of the year, the last day of this instance, this membership. Because I will be resting for quite some time. Going home. Yeah. What are your plans for tomorrow, guys? Let me hear about it. I'd like to eventually, when I get to have some people engaging here, we can get some chats going on. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a good rest of the night, and have a new year tomorrow. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow, most likely, because it's only here in England that there's no eventful stuff happening. Well, not much here in Cambridge anyway. Yeah, maybe we'll have a New Year's stream tomorrow. So have a good rest of the night, guys. If you want to see more of what I do, go to the bio of my YouTube channel, and I'll have some links there. I upload music, busking, videos. I got my bus.co website link in there, and yeah, more things to come. It's just that I'm so occupied right now with going home. So have a good rest of the night, and see you tomorrow. 3, 2, 1.